Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular council meeting of May 23rd, 2023. May I please have the calling of the roll, clerk?
Mayor Sidney.
Present.
Reeve Eman.
Present.
Councillor Sabalski.
Present.
Councillor Dick.
Present.
Councillor Legree.
Present.
Councillor McDonald.
Present.
And Councillor McWhirter.
Present.
Mayor Sidney, we have quorum.
Thank you very much. As we gather, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for the rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Please stand for O Canada. Thank you, council and staff. Any declaration of interest? Hearing none. On to presentation, delegation announcements and community events. I know there's a couple of councillors that have some things. Councillor McWhirter.
Just a quick note, there was a meeting with the Renfrew Golden Age Activity Center. They have a number of different things for seniors to do, and one of the fundraisers they're doing is they're having like a special meal night every last Monday of each month. They're already sold out for the 29th, which is Smith's Catering, and the next one's going to be June 26th. So if anybody's looking for help out and like something tasty to eat, that'd be the time to go. They're also on Wednesday the 28th planning a 10th anniversary. I believe they're going to be talking to the town about doing something with them. I've already talked to the fundraising committee about it, and so mark that on your calendar. It's going to be an all-day event, and that's it, Jim.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Dick.
Thank you, Mayor Sidney. Through you, two updates. The first one on the caboose that's been kind of lingering for the last year or two. I spoke with Marshall's Dave Bennett. It's Dave Bennett, right? For Marshall's. Dave, I talked to him on Saturday. He stopped in and we were having a chat about the caboose. He has one more coat of primer to go on. They got to fix the windows a little bit before they put that other coat on, and he anticipates they're going to start painting within the next 2 weeks. So hopefully within the next month that caboose is going to be up and looking good again. So I thought I'd give everybody an update on that. The next one is I attended the Renfrew Museum meeting on May 16th. And I got some really good updates. They have hired a part-time curator who comes with years of experience and knowledge. He's moved up this way. He's worked in the Ottawa museums for many years. The guy is absolutely fantastic from what they told. He's going to be working 15 hours a week. They have hired 6 summer students again this summer. And they only got 1 out of 4 grants that they applied for, so that grant is going to cover, I believe, 2 of the summer students. They're not too worried about the budget. However, they figure they're going to be very close to their budget with everything. They're planning on opening on May 29th if everything's ready. And other than that, they've updated their bylaws to be more modern and not so old, they said. So they're very, very excited. I'm very excited, and hopefully this new curator guy can really turn things around down there. So thank you.
Before we continue, I just want to acknowledge something that's happened over the weekend here in our community. As everybody is aware, we had a shooting and somebody is deceased. It is an unfortunate and isolated incident that the OPP are working due their diligence. We want to thank the OPP for their hard work, especially during this time. I know there's a lot going on. We offer our sincere condolences to the family and friends that are affected by this. This ongoing police matter is something that we can't talk about the investigation piece from a municipality, but we encourage residents to reach out to the assistive services in our community should they require support. So again, our condolences to the family, and yeah, it's a difficult time in our community right now. C2, it says Office of the Mayor. I just want to take a moment to commend council. Last Monday, I believe it was our actual 6-month anniversary of being in council. So if you reflect back on what has happened in 6 months, you've all been very, very busy. I just pulled out my stuff from my calendar that's on here just for accountability purposes for the community. Keeping in mind that these meetings were not just myself, council members were also there for the majority of them. So it was just, I attended 131 meetings. That's from high level of government in Toronto with Councillor McWhirter and Councillor Dick and CAO Tremblay and Reeve Emo, to our regular signature working groups. Attended 47 special events. Again, also council was present at some of those as well. Outreach on social media platforms, UTV, MyFM, CTV, CBC, Renfrew Mercury, Eganville Leader. I now have 491 followers on Facebook. I don't know if that's a good thing. And 220 on Instagram. Trying to figure out this Twitter thing. I only have 65, so I mustn't be doing a very good job on that one. And media interviews, topics included taxes, housing issues, construction plans, special events, and Renfrew overall. So I just wanted the community and council to know what we've been up to in the past 6 months, and commend you on it, because I think we've done a lot of work in 6 months. So thank you for that. And before we move on too, the staff went along that 6-month journey with us too, and there was a lot of changes, and I commend the staff on everything that they had to endure and do and teach and explain, so thank you for that as well. Moving on to reports arising from committees. D4 Fire, Recreation and Community Services. Chair Legree, you have anything you would like to add about our committee?
Thank you, Mayor Sidney. The Fire, Recreation and Community Service Committee met virtually on May 16th. This was our first meeting incorporating the new Community Services Department, and we're thrilled to have Director Thompson in attendance. Representatives from the Lomax Group provided introduction into the Community Risk Assessment, Fire Master Plan, and the Fire Hall Conditioning Assessment Report that is getting underway. Director Wall provided an update on the Mattaway Activity Centre. Timeframes are currently on track, and the grand opening is being scheduled for fall. More details to come. Overall, a good discussion took place, and anyone wishing to learn more is encouraged to watch the meeting on our town's YouTube channel. The following reports noted on the agenda have come forward for Council's consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to D4.1, donation of surplus fire equipment. That Renfrew Town Council approved the donation of emergency lighting from a light vehicle to the Horton Fire Department. Mover, please. Councillor Legree, seconded by Councillor McWhirter. Any questions on this, Council? It's pretty self-explanatory. I think Horton will be appreciative. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. That Renfrew Town Council approved the agreement between the Township of Whitewater Region and the Town of Renfrew for the use of the Town of Renfrew's Animal Impound Facility. Mover, please. Councillor Degree, seconded by Councillor Sobolski. Any questions, council? Revimo?
Not so much a question, but I would like to draw everybody's attention to the fact that, they're longer-term agreements, which is good for consistency, and I think, we've broken the municipal mold in terms of ensuring that there is an increase every year, because what happens usually, or has in the past, is that municipalities sign agreements, they don't build in increases, and then all of a sudden there has to be a massive increase 5 or 7 years down the road, and it usually blows up the agreement. So I think with a nice progressive agreement, which talks about recognizing the need for stable funding, but to cover increases, it makes sense. It also makes it for good neighbors, and the likelihood of getting another agreement is probably improved by about 100%. So good work. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, council. Moving on to D4.3, Culleton, Cusack, and Warmerdam Inquest jury recommendations. That Renfrew Town Council, 1, declare intimate partner violence and violence against women an epidemic as a result of jury recommendations resulting from the inquest into the murders of Carol Culleton, Anastasia Cusack, and Natalie Warmerdam, and following the resolution made by the County of Renfrew, and 2, the jury recommendation number 4 to integrate intimate partner violence into every municipality's community safety and well-being plan be forwarded to the Police Services Board for their consideration. Mover, please. Councillor Dick, seconded by Councillor Legree. Any questions on this? Councillor Dick?
Not a question, Mayor Sidney, just more of a comment. I work closely with Victim Services of Renfrew County, and I can 100% agree with this, that it is an epidemic, especially during COVID when the partners were not going to work and they were now stuck at home. And Victim Services of Renfrew County saw a rise in domestic abuse happen over Renfrew County. And I'm really, really happy to see this come forth to our table. And if you experience domestic violence, please reach out to Victim Services Renfrew County, and they'll be able to, the girls out there are amazing, and they'll be able to help you out. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? Questions? Revimo?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's a very necessary step to recognize and expose it, and then to ensure that the recommendations are followed through with. So I would hope that we all keep an eye on it and ask questions. Specifically, I think recommendations number 4, 5, 42, 43, 44, 19, and 25 are doable, and they're the responsibility of the province. And I would hope that they would also be able to do something about that as quickly as possible. And I would suggest with the ERN project that's being finished up in the next little while, the number 48, the electronic monitoring, is something that we should keep an eye on and continue to press for. So thank you. Very proud of our community for stepping forward and presenting a positive face and moving forward to recognize this first, and then secondly to agree to monitor and push all levels of government to improve the situation. Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? I agree with both Reeve and Councillor Dick. My only comment is it is great that it's being recognized. It's just unfortunate to how we got to this point, that it took 3 women's lives to get us to stand up and say enough's enough. So I thank council. All in favor? Thank you, council.
Excuse me, Your Worship, I forgot to
Yes,
add.
sorry.
There will be a ceremony at the memorial in Pembroke along the trail towards the end of June. As soon as I get the details, I will pass it out to council and staff so that people in the community can attend. It'll be, I believe it's a Tuesday evening, the last Tuesday in June, but I'll have more details in the next little while. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to D4.4. That Renfrew Town Council approve the award of the Mattaway Expansion third-party review to WCSC Consultants, Inc. at a cost of $35,600 excluding HST. Mover. Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Legree. Any questions on this, council? I think it'll be good to get it done and let's see what it says.
Just say a quick
Do you want- Yeah? CEO Trumbull?
And just to reiterate what was said at committee, that this consultant was selected by me because I feel that they meet the requirements of council's direction. Although I was provided delegated authority to make this appointment, I think it's sound for council to approve of the firm. The principal consultant is a chartered professional accountant, a certified construction auditor, a project management professional, and a certified fraud examiner. And our procurement policy allows us to single source this type of work, and I'm confident that they'll be able to do so in the timeframes outlined by council. We will be getting 266 hours of review as part of this assignment, and if there are any questions, I'll gladly take them. But we will inform the consultant after tonight and get going on the work with a final report by the end of the year.
Any questions? Councillor Dick?
Not so much a question, Mr. Mayor, through you. This is something that I'm sure, I can't speak for the other councils and even the mayor, but I'm pretty sure in fair saying that the citizens of this town have asked for this. They want answers. And I'm so happy that we have found someone really good. I've read this over once or twice, and it's very, very impressive. Very excited to see what comes out of it, so we can put this to bed, move on, and celebrate the great opening of Mattaway. But this needs to happen for the taxpayers of this town. And thank you, CEO Tremblay, for finding a good company, and thank you to council for everybody for approving this. And I'm looking, well, we haven't approved it yet, but we will. And hopefully, and I'm really excited to see what comes of this. Thank you.
Any other questions? Review?
Questions, and I think I agree, and I think to further stress that it was a very early conversation for this whole council to find out the proper vehicle to examine what has occurred and to then apply a best practices approach to it. So it makes a lot of sense. The firm is very qualified. I spoke to a member of council from Duro Drumbo, who I know, just to chat about what they had done, and they were very complimentary of this company and their ability to do the work. Also took a look at their website and looked at some of their other projects, so it makes sense. It's very qualified, and I think we'll get a good report out of it that allows us to learn from it. So, you know, as I said, it sort of is a step in the right direction from our very first meeting, where we wanted to make sure that we took a lessons learned approach to this.
Any other questions? I would like to ask for a recorded vote, please. Sorry, actually.
Reeve Eamon,
Yes.
Councillor Legree,
Yes.
Councillor McWhirter,
Yes.
Councillor McDonald,
Yes.
Councillor Sobalski,
In favor.
and Councillor Dick.
In favor?
The vote is carried.
I mean,
Oh, and Mayor Sidney.
yes.
The vote is carried.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Council. Moving on to Corporate Services and Economic Development. Chair Emo.
Thank you very much. We met on May the 16th, and as you see, all of the policies that we talked about are brought forward. We had a pretty good discussion, just to clarify some things. And again, I want to compliment the two committee members who came prepared, read the policies, understood them, and asked questions. And they're here for council to review and adopt at their leisure and pleasure. They are, you know, statutory policies, which in a good organization reviews them every 4 or 5 years or sooner, especially the ones around accountability and transparency and pregnancy and parental leave. Surplus land and rolling stock and equipment policies are very important to ensure that transparency and openness is followed, and a fair process that's explainable today and 12 years from now when the rumors get out. Updated human resources policy is healthy for the organization, and as well as being mandatory. And I think it allows structure and predictability for our employees and for people who are being served by our employees and council, for that matter. The commemorative naming process and policy, very glad to see this, because I think, you know, on occasion municipalities get into difficulty because they want to do what's right and sometimes hurry the process and don't have a structure that's consistent. And with a consistent structure and a review, and then the possibility of change down the road if something happens, I think it's the proper way to go. Group benefits plan, really excited to see this. And of course, final tax rates, we're all excited to see. And the employee assistance program is a very necessary program. It shows that we care, and it offers reassurance to our employees that that we're a good and well-meaning employer. So, with that, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Moving on to D51, statutory policy update. That Renfrew Town Council approve the public notice, accountability and transparency, and council pregnancy and parental leave policy required by the Municipal Act of 2001. Mover, please. Reeve Emo, second by Councillor McWhirter. Any questions on any of these policies, Council? Legislated? Hearing none? All in favor? Thank you, Council. D52, surplus of land, rolling stock, and equipment policy. The Renfrew Town Council approved the disposition and sale of surplus land policy and disposition of sale and surplus rolling stock and equipment policy. Mover, please. Councillor Gree, second by Councillor Sobalski. Any questions regarding this policy? Revimo?
This is probably the place where some municipalities, especially smaller ones, get themselves into difficulty because they don't have a policy that first of all declares something surplus and what's market value, how is it assessed, and how it's disposed of. And then also it also speaks to members of council and our workforce about how they can acquire municipal assets that are deemed surplus as well. So I think that's important to clear that up so that, again, when rumor strikes 10 years from now, we can say, no, we followed the policy and this is how it went, and it protects everybody's reputation.
Thank you. Councillor Dick?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a question because I don't understand some of this stuff, and I'm just being honest. So the town of Renfrew has lots all throughout the town. So just say, argument's sake, I know I'm on council, so it's a little different story, but say John Doe wants to buy a lot. Does he just come to the town and say, I want to buy that lot, then we do this, the policy? CO Tremblay or Revimo, if somebody could just clarify how that's going to work?
So basically, the land policy has two instances, non-marketable. Usually it's an easement or a sliver of land, stuff that really on the open market wouldn't have a value. For a building lot, it would have a value. So we can either declare surplus because we look at our land portfolio, which is on our work plan to do this year, and we come to council and say the following should be surplus. Does council agree? And we would give the notice. Should there be these one-offs, it would be the same thing. That request would be dealt with as part of this policy, and we would give public notice, and we would ensure that we're getting market value for the property, and we would follow this process. So it can be done in either instance. Yeah.
Any other questions? All in favor? Thank you, Council. D53, update on human resources policy. The Renfrew Town Council approved the following workplace violence, harassment, sexual harassment, and discrimination policy, retirement incentive policy, vacation and leave policy, and pay and benefits policy. Mover, please. Revimo, seconded by Councillor Legree. Any questions on these ones? Councillor McDonald?
Can I go ahead and just make a motion after consultation? Thank you. And thanks to the CO Tremblay for putting the wording together. So under section D53 with pay and benefits policy, and I'll go with the wording. Whereas as an employer, the corporation of the town of Renfrew is committed to the health and wellness of its employees. And whereas the existing fitness center at the recreation center can be used by staff at no charge outside of peak hours, therefore be it resolved that the pay and benefits policy be amended by adding the following section. So 18.0 under the wellness incentive. 18.1, the town supports the health and wellness of its employees by providing free access to the town's fitness center at the Mattaway Activity Center. 18.2, all remunerated employees, full-time, part-time, temporary, and casual, are eligible for a complimentary fitness center membership and can enroll at any time. 18.3, user fee revenue will be recognized in the Parks and Recreation Department for all enrolled staff, and offsetting expense will be shown in the individual departments for participating employees. And the last one, 18.4, employees who do not attend the fitness center for a period of 6 months will be removed from complimentary membership but can enroll again at any time. So thank you for assistance in the wording, and that's the amendment.
Thank you. So I will need a motion to approve. A seconder?
A second. He moved it.
Okay. Councillor Legree? All in favor of this? Oh, sorry.
So, and I apologize, I may not have caught this. This is just the employee themselves as not employee, family members, and offspring.
That's correct. The wording is just for the employee.
Perfect. Thank you.
Does it also include council members?
You're remunerated, so anybody that's on the payroll would be eligible.
Okay, so in that case, I don't have to declare pecuniary interest with my wife working for the town? Because at the same time, if we're going to say it's good for the councillors, then we're basically voting for ourselves too, so.
Yeah. It
It's
is-
a general anyways, I don't think it's a gray area if you guys are okay with that.
We can't give you advice regarding this
No.
matter, but I would say that it's
No, I'm just
it's a
basically
benefit
telling
in
you.
common for members of council. It is a specific benefit to your spouse, so it's up to you should you wish to declare just for the sake of it.
But it's also a benefit for us, and it's like enumeration, so I think I'm good with it.
Sure, yeah, I would file a code of conduct.
Any other questions about this motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, council.
On the main motion as amended.
On the main motion as amended.
Now you got to vote on the main motion as amended.
And vote again?
Because you just voted on the
Okay.
amendment.
So now, can I please have a motion, right?
I think you got a mover and seconder for the main motion, so now you just vote on it as amended.
D54, the commemorative naming process and policy. The Renfrew Town Council adopt a commemorative naming policy. Mover. Revimo, seconded by Councillor Sobolski. Any questions? All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, council. Just a little bit of announcement and continuing on with this this motion or this policy now that it's passed. Marie Vibo and I are going to be bringing forward and starting the process on naming something in Audrey Green's name to commemorate her years of service. So we will start the process, and this will give us a chance to see how the process works. And it'll be going to committee and then back to council. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up that will be coming forward. D55, Group Benefits Plan. That Renfrew Town Council approve awarding group benefits plan services to Beneva Insurance and Financial Services effective January 1st, 2024, and further that staff be directed to provide notice of termination effective January 1st, 2024 to the Municipal Benefits Committee and Manual Life. Mover, please. Revimo, second by Councillor Legree. Any questions?
If
Revimo?
possible, could maybe the CEO just elaborate a little bit on this, because there are some changes that I think show benefit to our fiscal our fiscal budget, but then also at the same time, there's benefits to our employee group.
Absolutely.
I'll let the treasurer start, and then I can not to rain on her thunder, because this is a good news story in terms of as we look at efficiencies and effectiveness and what we can provide. So if Erin wants to start.
Thank you. So Gallagher, sorry, I'm going to back up a second. Directed by the Finance Committee, previous to this committee, we were directed to engage with Gallagher on a two-part project to review our group benefits. So in doing that, they did a review of our benefits plan, and in comparison to the Municipal Benefits Committee, they recognized a savings of $56,000 annually, which we will see in our next budget in 2024. This switch to Gallagher, or Beneva, sorry, is an enhancement to our LTD, and it's in effect for the non-union class, the senior management, and council. Maybe will you assist me with the enhancements?
Certainly. And just on, so the cost savings are based on actual costs as of now, with some price certainty going forward. And we know that benefits have increased anywhere, what, Aaron, 10 to 15%. So the savings of 56,000 is actually likely more. But we have to give notice because it's the Municipal Benefits Committee that's run by the county. So that's why we're doing this work now, but we're locked in pricing. What that has allowed us to do based on the best practices for Gallagher is look at, and they're listed there in the report 1 through 3. And so there's been some clarity. So physio was unlimited before, but massage wasn't. So we've cleaned some of that up. So it's not necessarily an enhancement. It's more of a consistency. But there's a removal of the annual deductible for extended health care. There is now under the paramedical practitioners, there's coverage for a naturopath and where we've clarified physiotherapists, but we've also added due to mental health increasing in the workforce, access to psychologists, social worker, psychoanalyst, and psychotherapist. And on basic dental, it's 100% coinsurance with the added major dental and orthodontic. So the joke on that one is I saw the foot one and thought we were getting had braces, but no, it was a different kind of brace. So there is some coverage now as part of this, and this makes our benefits competitive. So we have a more competitive benefits program at a lesser price, which is a double positive for us. So kudos to the finance team, including Jen Fleming, our compensation and finance specialist, who assisted Aaron in the review. And I should just note for the other groups, their benefits are part of the collective bargaining process. And so at the time of collective bargaining, they can raise on their side any enhancements they're seeking or clarity they're seeking on benefits, but this applies on the non-union side as well.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you very much.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Council. On to D5.6, 2023 final tax rate. That Renfrew Town Council adopt the final tax rate as presented. Mover. Revimo, second by Councillor Sobolski. Any questions? Do we want to? Oh, we're good. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Council. D57, the Employee Assistance Program. That Renfrew Town Council approve the provisions of the Employee Assistance Program by Inkblot Employee Assistance 5-hour model effective September 1st, 2023, and further that staff be directed to provide notice of termination to Homewood Health effective September 1st, 2023. Mover, please. Revimo, second by Councillor McWhorter. Any questions on this? Revimo?
And we've, in our discussions, assured that should the contract end early, sometimes when people are ending a contract, they want to terminate early, then Inkblot would be able to step in somewhat earlier. So there should be no gap in service to our employee group, and we'll get the marketing information out to them as quickly as we can.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Council. Moving on to external boards and county reports. We are receiving the Renfrew Public Library Board minutes, E1, and the BIA May 15th meeting minutes. We're just receiving them?
Just for information.
Yeah, it's for information. I just want to highlight before we move on, because the Renfrew Public Library Board minutes are here, I just want to kind of point out that our chief librarian did a wonderful thing with a small libraries conference in Arnprior that she was organizing with some other people, and she did a fantastic job. I was fortunate enough to go with CAO Tremblay and Chief Librarian Thompson to do a presentation down there, and just to highlight that people are very impressed at what the town of Renfrew and the library is doing in collaboration, and we kind of were like famous for about 3 seconds there. It was cool, but really proud of the movement forward that the library and the town are doing, and I just wanted to highlight that. Revimo?
Thank you, Your Worship, for delivering my remarks. I'm not sure where I was, but I wasn't able to be there. I think I was in a parking lot in Belleville on a Zoom call. So thank you for my delivering the remarks on my behalf.
No problem. They were well done, actually. On to F. That Renfrew Town Council confirm the minutes of council dated May 9th, 2023, the special joint meeting of council dated May 9th, 2023, and the joint closed session minutes of May 9th, 2023, understanding that they remain confidential. Mover, please. Councillor Zawalski, second by Councillor McDonald. Any questions about the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. On to communications and petitions. I just want to do a little bit of acknowledgement from the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators that this year in our municipality, we acknowledged, this is the letter, we acknowledge the commitment of your Chief Administrative Officer, Robert Tremblay, for his 10 years of municipal service in a management capacity, which he did receive a pin for. So congratulations to CAO Tremblay for that great momentum part of your career. We're very fortunate to have you, and
I had brown hair before the 10 years.
so we just wanted to highlight that CAO Tremblay did receive his 10-year pin for that in recognition of his management experience. Moving on to G.2. That Renfrew Town Council approve a one-time grant to the Renfrew Legion in the amount of $10,000 to be funded from the 2023 operating budget in support of the recent furnace repair. Mover, please. Councilor McWhorter, seconded. I can explain it. Yeah, I'll explain it.
So we have a mover. I'll second it just to get it
Yeah,
discussed.
okay.
Thank you.
Seconded by Revimo. So I was approached by the president of the Legion. As we all know, they do some fabulous work in our community, but they don't have a lot of finances. They're not as big as they used to be. Their furnaces broke, and at a charge of $30,000 to them to repair their furnaces, it would be actually detrimental to the Legion, and they probably would not be able to stay open if they don't have community support. So they did approach me to bring it to staff, and they did request financial support. So that's why it's here for you to consider a one-time grant to them to help them out so that they do not close. So, any questions? Councillor Dick?
Thank you, Mayor Sidney, and with all due respect, this is a lot to ask and throw at us and try and make a decision in 5 minutes. So I don't know the rules or regulations. Can we bypass this tonight and not vote on it tonight?
So you can move a motion to postpone to the next meeting, should you
Yeah,
wish?
I just think, I personally do not feel comfortable just voting yay or nay
Yep.
on not enough information. Like, I'm totally uncomfortable with this right now.
Certainly.
So I definitely would like to make that, I don't know if somebody will second it, but I definitely want to make that motion, just so I can absorb it, do a little more investigating, a little more conversation.
And so two options, Mr. Mayor, so either a motion to postpone to the next council meeting, or you can refer it to the corporate services, it's Councillor Legree's committee that will have responsibility for grants to different organizations, so you could refer it to that committee, and at which time staff could provide a covering report. There was a letter, we apologize that it wasn't attached to the agenda, so you would see it, but it was essentially what the mayor had just noted. So that would be to the Fire, Recreation and Community Services Committee. So you could move referral to that committee, Councillor, and then just get a seconder.
Okay, I would like to make that motion to what you just said.
I'll second
I
that-
ain't
I'll
remembering
second
that.
motion, what you
I
just-
ain't remember.
Second by Revimo.
I ain't remember what you just said to COA Tremblay.
Referral, just so everybody knows, referral to the Fire, Recreation and Community Services Committee.
Seconded by Revimo. All in favor? Oh, sorry, Revimo.
If I might, not opposed to the idea with a little bit of information, but what I would hope is that we would get a little fuller explanation of how old the furnace is it an increased capacity for them, firstly, and then secondly, if we're going to do this, because, you know, we have some other significant buildings in the community, I think of the Wing and the Armories, two that are massive structures that serve a great percentage of our population, then we should probably have some kind of a policy with a budget line and a decision matrix, because, you know, furnaces now is a roof next, is a new electrical grid system internally, is a new lighting, and then the last thing, if I might, is there a possibility of us being able to partner them off with some other organizations that may have funding, whether it's Enbridge if it's a gas furnace, whether it's RPG or RHI who may have access. So those kinds of things, if we can move forward with that kind of a mindset, I'm not opposed to giving it full consideration. Thank you.
CEO Trombley?
And just in terms of timing, I know Director Thompson's been working on an update to the grants to organization kind of process for an actual policy that would speak to fee waivers, one-time grants, capital grants that would speak to all of this. And I know I've had conversations with the treasurer about, well, where would we fund this from and the envelope and other commitments. So sending this to that committee, the policy will come at the same time, speaking to the elements that the Reeve has just noted.
Thank you.
And just for clarification's sake, they approached me on what to do, and I said send a letter. So that's what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, Mayor Sidney, yeah, just, we're all learning here, and
Yeah,
I
no,
get it, that you just
think it's
got
good.
it, and we're
Yeah.
just getting it, so let's do it the right way, and we'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
Thank
Councilor
you.
McWhorter?
I'd also like to know if they've done any fundraising for this, the furnace itself, if they've done anything besides just coming to us.
Oh, sounds good. Anything else? So we need another mover.
motion, no,
Just in favor?
on referral.
All in favor for the referral? Carried. Thank you, council. Oh.
Higher J.
Hmm?
J.
Isn't it H? Yeah.
No motions were previously given, so we can skip it.
Whereas the Renfrew landfill has remaining capacity and the town of Renfrew should be proactive in planning for its eventual closure or expansion, and whereas the town is committed to exploring revenue generation opportunities, environmental stewardship, and the greater use of technology, therefore be it resolved that Renfrew Town Council direct the Development and Environment Department to report back with a preliminary summary by the end of 2023 on potential opportunities for waste incineration and power generation at the landfill, including best practices and other municipal examples, pros and cons, financial considerations, incentives, grants, potential revenue, capital financing, necessary approvals, and technology. Mover, please.
That was Councillor McWhorter's.
Councillor McWhorter, second by Councillor Legree. Any questions on this? Revimo?
I would caution you may not get an answer by the end of 2023. Right now, with the provincial government and Bill 97 and apportioning numbers of homes to various municipalities across central Ontario, I've been in council chambers right now where all of a sudden, by adding 27 or 21,000 extra homes, their landfill capacity is getting eaten up. And so there is a very concentrated effort to try and find different means of disposing of waste. So I would suggest there's going to be a bit of a glut or log jam in getting information out and projects. So I wouldn't, I'll bring you as much information as I can and point you quickly, but I do know there's at least 30 that I'm aware of that are undergoing the same exercise. So there may not be solutions readily available by the end of 2023. So I just wanted to warn you so that it won't be a staff issue, it'll be an information issue. And I recognize that the province is also being pressured to take a look at the regulations around incineration and all sorts of other things that zap waste. So there may be some quick changes there, which will slow down the information gathering as well.
Thank you very much. CEO Trombley?
Just on that point, and thanks to the mover for asking staff to help craft this. It's a preliminary summary that's going to come in at 2023. This is not on the staff work plan, and should the preliminary summary be what we want to get from council after the preliminary summary with the information that is available, understanding that, to the Reeves point, it's a moving target, before we spend any extra time. So it will be a general overview, so that before we commit to, from a work plan perspective, to spend staff time on this or through a third-party consultant, should that be the case, that you get a little bit of preliminary information before you direct us. So acknowledging that what you'll get will be based on the information available now, and that should come before the end of the year, before we spend any like additional staff time or funds on this without further council direction to do so.
Great, thank you. Revimo? Oh, Councilor McWhorter?
I just want to say, I think the majority of council is just trying to be proactive. We hear it almost every day about other municipalities that are actually right to the wall now. They don't have an option. And luckily, our landfill's not at that point yet. And it's great on this council to be proactive and look at the future. And I think it's going to come sooner or later. So that's great. Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, council. Moving on to K.
Or J, sorry.
Well, there's nothing there.
No, but people can raise it on the floor.
Okay. Any notice of motion? Hearing none. Moving on to K. That Renfrew Town Council convene in closed session with CAO Trombley, Clerk Charbonneau, Treasurer Broom, Deputy Clerk, and legal counsel remaining in the room pursuant to the following sections of the Municipal Act 2001. 1, Section 239E, litigation and potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Section 2F, Section F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for the purpose, more specifically how it relates to a tenant of One Innovation Drive. Mover, please. Councilor McWhorter, second by Councilor Legree. All in favor? Carried. We are now in closed session at 6:53. All right, welcome back to any of the viewers or people watching later on. We just come back and rise from a closed session where we gave direction to legal and staff to communicate with the tenant at 1 Innovation Drive. That's all there is to report on that. Now we go to bylaws. The bylaws listed on the agenda of May 23rd, 2023 be taken as read and passed. 40-2023, the final tax rate. 41-2023, public notice and accountability and transparency. 43-2023, workplace violence, harassment, sexual harassment, and discrimination. I missed 42? Oh, 42-2023, council, pregnancy and parental leave. 44-2023, HR policy update, retirement incentives, vacation and leave, and pay and benefits. 45-2023, surplus of land and rolling stock and equipment policy. 46-2023, commemorative naming policy. 47-2023, pound agreement with Whitewater Region. 48-2023, confirming bylaw.
44 was as amended.
And 44-2023 was as amended. Mover, please. Councillor McWhirter, second by Councillor Degree. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Council. Upcoming meetings of Council and Standing Committees. Our regular Council meeting of June 13th, 2023 is at 6. Infrastructure, Public Works, and Asset Management Standing Committee, June 6th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Planning, Building, and Environment Standing Committee, June 6th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Corporate Services and Economic Development Standing Committee is June 20th at 10. And Fire, Recreation, and Community Services Standing Committees, June 20th, 2023 at 2. Thank you very much, Council. We had a lot done today. We are now adjourned at 7:53.
Do I steal this? Pink paper?